Hey everybody, Super Squee here of the Emotionally Unstable Gamer channel on YouTube. This is in the same session as the last two, so for any sound issues or quietness or pops or what have you, those are the reasons. On we go. Wow, this movie still holds up so fucking well. I love this movie so fucking much. And don't get me wrong, my child brain enjoys the sequel for different dumb reasons. But this movie is incredible, and that movie is a travesty. Fuck, I want to read the novels it's based on, because there isn't enough lore to satiate me. So this is one of those, like, classic movies from back in the day, like, classic animated movies that, like, I watched a ton when I was little, and, like, the Great Horned Owl, like, scared the shit out of me, and so did Nicodemus, which is funny because, like, Nicodemus is super chill. He's just really old, so, like, either I'm just, like, terrified of, like, skeletal old people, or, like, this movie makes me scared of old people that, like, look like they've seen way better days. I apologize to you old people. If you look horrifying, I'm sorry. I know it's not your fault most of the time. Better than I expected. Still not my cup of tea, but I can understand why people who grew up with this movie have fond childhood memories of it. So, like, I thought this movie was, like, all over the place and, like, weird as shit with how they decided to do things, but, my fiance and a million other people that I know seem to have really fond memories of this film. I do not. I never watched it until I was now 27 years old, so just kind of like, eh. Honestly, other than hearing the sound of the main voice of the show and the artist's choice of animation, this isn't anything special. Lots of jokes just weren't that funny. The writing wasn't necessarily terrible, but just wasn't interesting, and I was bored most of the time I was watching. Like, kudos to the voice work and the choice of stop motion. The little wood figures and the sets are awesome, and the characters look cute and well done. I just don't like the story and the comedy of this show, and it doesn't even adhere to the rules of its own time period. Most of the time, it doesn't even adhere to the rules of its own time period most of the time, which kills some of the period jokes. It's rough around the edges, but I know why this is some people's favorite game of all time, / favorite Final Fantasy of all time. I just imagine being a kid and playing this and it just being the wildest, most awesome thing ever, especially when there is nothing in the world quite like it at the time. I'm very happy that I retrieved and recruited all the characters in this game. It was worth it, and though some of them don't have as much backstory, what little you do get makes them a pretty great ragtag team of people. Sometimes simple for the time of, or, sorry. Sometimes simple for the time or what was constrained by hardware can make a game even greater. The credits on this game are some of the best I've ever experienced and made me cry, and I wasn't even that invested. At least I didn't think I was. My opinion, of the first 6 games, it is my favorite, and in my opinion, the most well done of those 6. Sometimes, when shit's stressful and the world is crazy inside your own home, or the outside, it is nice to just save the world. Don't fucking complete this game, for the love of God. It isn't difficult, just time consuming as hell with a ton of RNG. Okay, so I'm gonna be writing this up as a view of just a straight playthrough of the game, not trying to 100% or do alpha mode or anything. I like this game a lot. I love what it does different, and I love the UI. I'm not the biggest fan of the general art style, but it isn't bad by any means. The music is pretty good for what it is, and the sound effects and sound design are fun. The general gameplay loop can get really repetitious and become real grindy, like RPG grindy, which can be fun but also sucks. I have some general issues with some of the jokes thrown around because they are really unfunny stereotypes or offhand racist. This game isn't committing any hate crimes, and I doubt the creator meant to be racist, but it just kind of comes off as tone deaf, and I hope that shit doesn't make it into the sequel. I do ultimately like the sense of humor in this game and the melding of puzzle and dating sim. I'm looking forward to the sequel and the changes it'll make to be a more fun game. Rob sucks and reminds me of someone I used to be friends with. Until the very end, Rob shows very little growth, and watching her just go in circles being a giant wad makes me throw my hands up in the air constantly in aggravation. I love the cast surrounding Rob, and I love Charisse. She is the best. I want to be her best friend. Look, I've got a heart, and it does suck what happens to Rob over the course of the show, but ultimately, she made the choices that made shit suck. And a year later, from where the story kind of begins, she continues making those shitty decisions and acting as she knows best. Excuse me. When she obviously doesn't. I do really, really enjoy watching this show, and even though Rob is a colossal dumbass and an asshole her disaster is still entertaining. This show is based on an old movie with John Cusack, and believe before that movie was based on a book. Good music, fun cast, interesting young adult stories. Rob sucks. Look, as just a sidebar, you can grow and become a better person after being a shitty one, but no one owes you to stick through being shitty and toxic. No one owes your friendship or closure or acceptance of your apology. I've been that shitty person, and I'm lucky for the family and friends who stuck with me because they knew I was better than that, but they didn't owe me that. Sometimes you need to just move on and know that isn't always easy, but it's better than shuffling around like an empty shell, whether you were the toxic one or stuck around with someone toxic. Treat yourself and be good. It's old and oversaid, but treat others how you want to be treated, and don't be selfish. I don't think this is a good movie for young kids if they are really paying attention, unless you've somehow been able to teach your kids how emotions actually work, because it's a super bad oversimplification of emotions and how our brains work. That said, I really enjoy this movie, and I cry every time I get to certain spots. It is relatable and very memeable, and comes around with a better evolution of the emotions and how memories are formed in the movie's universe. It's gorgeous, heartfelt, and imaginative. Love the voice cast. Okay, give me just a second. Have to get to my page. Olaf sucks. Why they gotta tease me like that and let him live? Way better than the first movie. Still think Disney are cowards for not connecting this to Brave. Very pretty. Good soundtrack. Dope story moments. Once again, fuck Olaf. Why couldn't they kill him? Fuck Olaf. I've seen the intro to this movie once and apparently thought I'd seen the whole thing, which I had not. Regardless of this fact, this movie is incredible. It's like anything Wes Anderson is involved with is just so fucking magical. Go watch this movie. It's so simple, but so wonderfully executed. Normally, when I make posts about music artists, I make a separate post for each album, which I will continue to do. But due to the lack of albums, and just honestly the small amount of music Ashnikko has produced, I accidentally just listened to all of it. I love her music. Every single song I enjoy listening to, and I love her aesthetics. It is genuinely hard for me to pick one song that is my absolute favorite, and I cannot wait for whatever she creates next. So, a little bit of sidebar. I do not know this person intricately, obviously, because I am not their friend in real life. I am not around the person or whatever. I think that in most circumstances, you should be able to separate the art from the artist. And so far, she doesn't seem to be too problematic in, like, really bad, like, unforgivable ways. Like, because I feel like at the end of the day, everyone, you can find something that is problematic about them. Whether it's, like, really bad or, like, just some dumb little thing. But I haven't seen anything yet. Who I do find extremely problematic, even though I do enjoy some of their music, is Melanie Martinez, who they may be doing music together soon. Which I'm both like, I bet that could be really cool, but I'm also like, why you gotta do that? And if you want more information on that, you should go look into why that's kind of like, in the first place. But thank you for watching, guys. Love you. Be safe out there. Wash your hands, wear the masks, and don't be an asshole. Bye-bye.